All right, hi everyone. We are live. I'm Carly. This is Zoo to You Virtual Safari. Today it is Wednesday and we are in Central Ranges again, but this time we are with Okapi, a huge fan favorite for a lot of our guests here at Denver Zoo. So to talk about them, I'm going to turn it over to one of our hoof stock keepers. I'm going to let a couple more people join. So just let us know in the comments that you're with us, you're watching. Put your comments for Jesse about Okapi in the comments section. And as a reminder, that donate button is on, so you can support Denver Zoo by clicking that. You can also go to our website to support us there. You can also vote for our rhino calf name. We have just 1 week left that we're taking naming votes for our rhino girl, Tali, Juna, or Pemba. So get your vote in while you can. Just let us know you're watching. I think we have enough people to get started. So welcome again. Today is Wednesday. It is Zoo to You Virtual Safari, and we're talking about Okapi. And this is Jesse.
Hi guys.
And who is this?
This is Sakili. He's our 10-year-old male Okapi. The reason that you know he's a male is he has those ossicones. Now, if you kind of look way back there, you'll see Callie. Look at the top of her head, she doesn't have ossicones. Now, unlike their cousin, the giraffe, only male Okapi have the ossicones, females do not.
Very interesting. Now, are these related to zebras? I think they're pretty famous for having what we like to call zebra pants. But who are they more closely related to?
They are more closely related to the giraffe. The reason they have those stripes on the back side is these guys do live in the forests of the Congo in Africa. And if a predator is looking at them from behind and they want to maybe find some prey, that pattern that they have actually mimics the kind of sunlight coming in through the dense rainforest and can actually camouflage them. Their front side is actually just that dark color because if you're looking at them head on in the dense rainforest, you're really not going to see them.
So what is Sakili snacking on right now?
He is snacking on some browse. We get browse shipped in every day for a good portion of our browsers. And he has some willow and acacia browse. Acacia, I think, is probably his favorite, but he'll really eat anything.
And we have another Okapi here.
Yes.
But we're not with him in the yard. Who else do we have?
We also have Romakari. He is going to be 2 this year in September.
All right, let's say hi to Kali real quick. Now tell us about her age.
Callie is going to be, she's going to be 11 years old in June. She is actually the heaviest of our Okapi because when you have Okapi, females tend to be larger than the males. She's weighing in at about 550 pounds. Sakili over here is just over 500 pounds and Ro is already up to 460.
All right, Lily, age 8. She watches every day. Hi, Lily. Thank you.
Thank you for watching, Lily.
She wants to know how much do they eat and what is their favorite food?
Their favorite food is any kind of browse we can throw in there, any browse that's good for them. And they can eat probably about 40 pounds of foliage, and we also give them hay and alfalfa, so about 40 pounds in a day.
Michelle is wondering, do they like snow?
All of our animals here at the zoo do have temperature guidelines, what they can and cannot go out in, and snow is maybe not one of their favorite things. If it is warm enough for them to go out and there's a little bit of snow on the ground, they might eat it a little bit, but they're probably not particularly fond of it.
Yeah, they can bear it.
They can bear it, but maybe not their favorite condition.
Exactly. Let's see. Now, how come we hang this on the fence instead of just kind of putting it on the ground or putting it lower down?
So because we're hanging it up to simulate natural behaviors, these guys are what you call a browser. So that means that they eat low-hanging branches on trees or bushes. A grazer is an animal that eats grass off the ground. So we're trying to mimic the way they would naturally eat in the wild.
Ethan, age 12. I know he's a frequent watcher too. He wants to know if they sleep standing up.
They do actually sleep standing up. These guys, much like their giraffe cousin, don't sleep a whole lot. But they can sleep both standing up and laying down.
Hi, Lynn. She says she missed the beginning. We are looking at Sakili, our male Okapi, and Kali, our female Okapi. And you can tell Sakili is the male because he has those ossicones, and females do not. Did I get that right, Jesse?
Yes, and one really cool thing about those ossicones, these guys and giraffes are the only animals born with their horns because those ossicones are made out of cartilage. Now, cartilage, as we know, like from our ears and our nose, can bend. So it can bend coming out of the birth canal and won't hurt mom. Now, as they grow older, it goes through a process called ossification, which means it fuses to the skull and makes it really, really hard like bone.
So that's a great question. We get a lot of questions about that when we do our rhinos, if they're born with the horn or if it grows in. Yep. So it's a fun piece of trivia. These guys born with them. Preston and Zoe, they also watch every day. Hi, you guys. They were wondering, they missed the beginning as well, why their legs are striped.
So the reason they have that stripe is because a predator in the dense rainforest where they live, if they're looking at their backside and the sunlight is coming through that really, really dense foliage, they can't quite see because it kind of mimics the sunlight coming in the forest.
So it's not because they have a relation to zebras.
No, they are not related to zebras at all.
Michelle is wondering, do they have the same feet as giraffes?
Yes, so they do have those 2 toes. They are they're what you call an artiodactyl, the even-toed ungulates, as opposed to parasodactyl, which are odd-toed ungulates.
I was trying to zoom in there. Sorry, guys. Melissa says, do they have purple tongues like giraffes?
They do have that purple tongue like a giraffe.
Let's see if we can get a little closer without losing our connection or kind of spooking these guys.
Yeah. So they do have that purple tongue. Theirs can be about 14 inches long. It is prehensile, which means it can wrap around that branch and rip the leaves off while keeping the branch intact. Their tongue is actually so versatile that they can lick their eyeball with it.
Ooh.
I have seen it several times. It's kind of weird, but
Why would you do
it's
that?
pretty cool. So if they blink, they don't really moisturize their eyes like we do, so they lick their eyes instead.
Very cool. Theo, age 5, wants to know how tall they are.
So they can be about 6 feet tall when they're standing totally vertical.
Do we measure that from the shoulder or the top of the head?
Top of the head.
Top of the head. So yeah, I mean, I'm about 5'5". They're almost at my shoulder height.
Yeah.
So that really does make sense. So let's see. How old are they? 10 and 10?
Yes, so they'll both be 11 actually in June.
Hi, Maria. They are related to giraffes, not zebras.
Yep.
What else do you want to tell us about Okapi? They're
Another cool
so
fact
soft.
Yes, they are so soft. So what's cool about them is their fur is actually much like a goose's or a duck's. It sheds water. Because they live in the rainforest, obviously, where it rains. They do have that the oils on their skin that helps to shed the water and keep them a little bit drier.
Let's see.
Another cool fact about these guys is they have 32 teeth, just like an adult human. Now, they don't have teeth on that top jaw. If you watch when they bite, sometimes they'll pull up. That's because those teeth, they have 8 teeth on that bottom jaw in the front, none on the top because they're not a grazer on the ground. And then they have 6 chewing molars on each jaw in the top and bottom in the back.
Hunter, age 6, wants to know if they like to swim.
They are not too keen on swimming, no. I think they'll wade through a river just to get across it, but I don't think they're too, they don't really like to swim, no.
Hi, Daisy. She's curious how long their pregnancies last.
So their gestation is about 14 months.
14 months, that's pretty long.
Yeah.
I think we tend to think of hoofstock as having somewhat shorter gestation.
Tend to, yep.
Calvin, age 4, is it true people used to think they were unicorns?
Well, I mean, it's possible. They're recently discovered in 1901, and they're still a not very well-studied animal, so kind of elusive. So, I mean, maybe if one of those horns was missing, I could see it.
Joy is wondering, what is their lifespan?
So in the wild, we're really not quite sure, but here at the zoo, we've seen all the way from 15 to 20 years.
Hi, Charvik. He says the Okapi is his favorite animal.
They're
Thanks
one of my
for
favorites
watching.
as well.
Maddie, age 10, wants to know, what is their main predator?
So their main predator is actually the leopard.
The leopard.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Ruby is 4. She wants to know if they can run really fast.
They can get going to about 20 to maybe 25 miles an hour. Now, running in the dense rainforest probably isn't your best bet, so they don't really have to run a whole lot.
Oliver, age 5, wants to know why they eat leaves and do we feed them anything else?
Well, they eat leaves because they are that browser, as I mentioned before. They're going to eat the foliage up high, maybe so that another animal can eat something down low. And we do feed them a mix of alfalfa and grass hay. Each one of them gets a grain amount based on their age and their weight. And then they each get a produce amount as well. You know, carrots, apples, sweet potatoes, just, you know, delicious things for a little snack.
Lori is curious. We talk about enrichment a lot on these live streams. What kind of enrichment do we give to our Okapi?
What we really like to give them are puzzle feeders. So, you know, something that has an opening for them to use that prehensile tongue to get in there. Because by having a puzzle feeder, you're going to encourage that natural behavior of them using their prehensile tongue to gain their food. Gabriel, age 3, wants to know, do they like their keepers? I would say so, Gabriel. I really think they do. I mean, they definitely perk up when they see us in the mornings. Yeah, I think we have a very good relationship with them. Tiffany's curious, are they gentle or are they aggressive? So they are pretty gentle. You know, maybe during breeding season they might get a little iffy or something like that, but no, generally they're pretty gentle. We are able to share space with them on certain occasions. Yeah, I'd say they're gentle.
Now, they're in a yard that, if you want some perspective, Kamala Cafe is right across there, our 4D theater. So what other animals can they see from their yards?
So from their yard, they can see sort of the Przewalski's horses over there. We recently got one of the kudu back here, so they're kind of been introducing through our stockade fencing there. They can see elephants over there during the demo. Camel, not so much, but they can see people at the 4D theater on their way through. And back this way, they could see the zebra.
And they can be seen by the lions from our maternity yard, too. Melody, age 9, says, do they have a mating season, a breeding season?
They do. So if you think about that 14 months gestation, really, since they are kind of secluded in the wild, when they can meet up and mate is when they will. What's really cool about these guys is they do have scent glands on the bottom of their hooves. And that is a way for a female to kind of say that she's available in case there's a male around that may want to mate.
Blair wants to know if they miss the public.
Yes, they do. I think all of us here at the zoo miss the public, animals included. We are so used to seeing people coming through here all the time that it's been very eerily quiet without them.
Is this a social species, or do they live in solitary?
So they tend to live only in solitary animals in that, except for during breeding season, they'll come together, and then a mother with her calf.
Natalie's wondering if they can jump.
No, they can't really jump. They're really not built for it.
But they can reach.
Yes.
That's how they can get that higher stuff right there. Diana says, hello, beautiful. She bets the public misses them too. And we know that everyone's really missing them. Now, we don't have any babies currently, but have we had babies here in the past?
We have had. Actually, these two here have had 2 babies historically.
Oh.
And they are together now in case they do breed, which would be great for the zoo. But as of right now, we do not have any pregnant Okapi or babies.
Yes, the picture we posted earlier, a lot of people were led to believe that we have a pregnant Okapi.
Oh, no.
We do not. We would let you know if we do. Let's see. So are we planning to breed these two? Do these two have a breeding recommendation?
Yes, they do.
So we're hoping, but we can only wait on that.
Yeah, we can only do so much. Correct.
What else do you love about working with Okapis?
What's cool about Okapi and just hoofstock in general for me is the challenge they present. Yes, they're food motivated, but a lot of times they're very standoffish, and they are a prey animal. So a lot of times when interacting with them, they don't quite know what you would like, and you have to find a way to communicate with them. And when you earn their trust, it's very, very rewarding.
Aaron, age 37, he wants to know how long they will stay with their calves before kind of going off on their own.
So they will stay with them for up to around 2 years, and then they'll kind of go off and do their own thing.
Let's see. Blair, she must come to the zoo a lot. She wants to know if the cranes are in with them today.
So no, unfortunately not. We do not have the cranes in with them.
Let's see. Raylan, hi. Raylan, she's 9. So you're actually very close in age to these two. They are 10 years old each, soon to be 11. And how did you get started working with Okapis? That's some of the questions we're getting.
So I got my degree in zoology from the University of Wyoming. My first job was working with giraffes, which obviously are very closely related to these guys. And every zoo I've worked at has always had these guys as a part of the hoofstock team. And that's where it's been from there.
Taylor wants to know what the conservation status of Okapi is.
So these guys were just recently listed as threatened. They are threatened due to poaching. People will poach them for their skin and for bushmeat. And then just habitat destruction. Humans do unfortunately encroach on a lot of habitats for a lot of animals.
Patricia's joining us from Portugal. Hello, thank you for watching. Calvin, age 4 again, he wants to know, do their big ears help them hear well?
Yes. So actually these guys, what's really cool is they communicate with infrasound, which means they can communicate with a sound that we cannot hear. So right now they could be talking and we have no idea what they might be saying to each other.
So Katie, she knows about our animal ambassadors. She says, do these guys have any trained behavior, or is that only animal ambassadors that we do that with?
So the behaviors that they have really work with their husbandry. So we will ask them to present maybe their neck for a blood draw. We're working toward all of these behaviors. We do also work on their hooves. Anything that they want to participate in that we can train is what we'll do.
Lindsay's curious, what is their native range?
So they live in the Ituri forest in the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
All right. Christina, hi, we have answered this. They are most closely related to the giraffe. You'd think zebra because of their legs, but we explained a little why that's actually kind of a myth or a misunderstanding about this animal.
Another thing they share in common with the giraffe is the way they walk. So most ungulates will walk with their front leg and their back leg of opposite sides. But giraffes and okapi do what we call a pace. So they'll walk with their right side, both legs, and then their left side, both legs. So they kind of have an awkward gait.
Let's explain what an ungulate is.
An ungulate is an animal that has, they walk up on their toes, well, up on their toenails. So we walk what we call plantigrade, which means we plant our whole foot. Some animals walk on their digits, digit grade, or they walk on their on the toe, which is ungulagrade.
Maddie is 10. She wants to know, do we have to clean their hooves?
Yeah, so we are working toward getting voluntary hoof trims and cleaning out and everything like that. They're pretty good about walking around and getting a lot of the stuff out of their hooves by themselves too.
All right, what else do you want to tell us about these?
Just that they're missing the public. They're an amazing animal. We're really looking forward to having people back this way. And we hope to see you guys soon.
Yeah, so we're going to take some more questions if you want to ask. We've covered things like why they have stripes, how old they are, so you can look back through the comments for answers to those, because we are answering them both on the video and in the comment section. If you're curious, if you're just joining us, you can tell the males from the females, because only males have the ossicone. So who you're looking at right now is Sakili, and over there is Kali, our female. Katie wants to know if they have more than one stomach like cows do.
That is an excellent question. So they do have a 4-chambered stomach, much like a cow, much like a giraffe. That's called a ruminant. So at times they won't be chewing on anything. If you do watch them closely, you can watch their neck. Sometimes they'll burp along with it. You can see something travel up that neck, and then they will begin chewing on it and swallowing it again to move on to the other chambers of the stomach.
Someone asked why their tongues are purple.
So their tongues are that dark color because it spends so much time outside of their mouth that it would actually develop a sunburn if it was kind of lighter colored like ours. If you get their tongue out far enough, about 8 inches, it does turn pink just like ours, but that first little bit is dark to prevent a sunburn.
Kaya, age 8, wants to know how thick their fur gets.
I mean, it's not especially thick. They don't really have cold weather fur or anything like that. So, I mean, very, 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 very small.
Let's see. So that's, and they're soft?
They are soft. When you do run your hand down them, you do kind of get that oil from their fur on your hand, and it's kind of weird, but you know, the opportunity to touch a Okapi, you can't miss that.
No, you cannot. Do they like scratchies?
They do. So they actually really like to be scratched along the neck and along the underside of the neck. And then, as weird as this sounds, they'll sometimes use our fingers as Q-tips, and we kind of get in those ears, and they really, really enjoy it.
Ooh, are their tongues sticky to drink or eat?
So they are sticky, so it helps them to grab the leaves off of trees. They do produce an extra amount of saliva to help them eating and ruminating and everything like that. So yeah.
And that tongue, I'll show you guys a little, it's so precise. They're able to just strip the leaves right off these branches without pulling the branches down, much like giraffes. We can see them strip their brows all the way down to the bark. Will they do that to this, or are they not fans of bark?
So they don't really strip down to the bark, no. So they will get all the leaves eventually, but not really a fan of the bark.
Jennifer's wondering, are Okapi monogamous? Do they mate for life?
So they are considered monogamous, yes. But really, we only know that from Okapi in zoos. We're really not sure about in the wild.
Stacy wants to know, is it a pain to clean their hooves?
I mean, you can call it a pain. I could call it a labor of love. I don't think it's really that bad.
All right. Does the cold bother them? Christine's wondering.
Well, like I said before, they do have temperature cutoffs. All of our animals do, and we won't put them out into a temperature that we think is detrimental to them. So if you don't see them out on exhibit, that might be why.
Laura wants to know if we have to groom them.
So they actually kind of groom themselves. Like I said, they do lick their eyes, they lick their ears, and you'll see them kind of grooming their fur, but really not like a cat would, no.
Christine is wondering why they have tails.
So the tail does help with fly control. They do use that tail to swat at any flies that may be around their backside. And then also they will use their tongue and their neck to reach back and swat flies as well.
So they've just been snacking on all this browse, and there goes Callie getting some more from a feeder back there. How much do they eat in a day?
So they can eat up to about 40 pounds in a day.
Up to 40 pounds in a day. Do we know what zoos these two came from?
Yes, so Callie was actually born here, as was Romakari, and then Sakili came to us from San Diego Wildlife Park.
All right. Well, we might wrap up here because, hi, Maria. They are pregnant for 14 months. Hi there, Elise. Thanks you to everyone who has been watching and joining with us. We'll take a couple more questions. Oh, Calvin again. He wants to know if they are good climbers.
Not particularly, no. Living in the rainforest, they don't have a whole lot of use for climbing. I mean, maybe going up a trail. They will use well-established trails. You can kind of look around their yard and see that they have well-worn trails. That's because they're used to walking through the rainforest, and you don't really want to blaze your own path. You kind of stick with what's already been done.
Maddie is 10. She wants to know if they get along with other animals. I don't know if she means here or in the wild.
So really, they're going to be really, really solitary. So here, we're going to only have them together maybe for this breeding recommendation. That is why Romakari kind of has his own yard. But as for other animals in the wild, I think they would probably try to avoid them.
So parents, if you're watching with your kids, I'm seeing a lot of great questions from them. You can also go to our website, denverzoo.org/zoo-to-you. We have great activities and educational resources there for you that have to do with some of these lives. We have our past videos if this is the first one you're joining us for. So that is a great landing page and site for you all to explore with your kids if you want to do any activities. So I think we have answered pretty much all the questions. Hi, Mia. Are they considered dangerous, Jesse?
I would say not so much, but best to keep your distance regardless.
Just kind of with like any wild animal.
That's true.
So we're going to wrap it up here. If you missed anything today, we will be posting this in full on our website, denverzoo.org/zoo-to-you, and our YouTube page. Just search Denver Zoo on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us today. Oh, one last question. Thatcher says, are they nocturnal?
Nope, they are primarily diurnal, which means that they are active during the day.
All right. Thank you so much for your awesome questions, everyone. Thank you to Jesse, who has been a great moderator today, answering so many great questions. We can't wait to see you tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.
Have a good day.